Okay, so we counted about 7 or 8 occurrences of Kubernetes has won the container management battle or whatever it was. Did anyone go to Sainsbury's last week? And I don't mean to the supermarket, I mean to the meetup that Contino organised.
Talks about orchestration platforms?
Talks about orchestration platforms. Did anyone go to that? Yeah. So that was the container management wars. And so they had a panel of people from Rancher, some people from Mesos. Anyone remember that? Sorry, no, I'm trying. Nomad, and Kubernetes. So I went along to that. I had nothing better to do that night. I'm like, well, Kubernetes obviously, right? Everyone's using Kubernetes, everyone's talking about it. But yeah, who won? Do you want to know who won?
How?
Yeah, Rancher came away with the most compelling story.
It's because their talker was the most charismatic one.
So you're saying because their talker was the most charismatic one, that is absolutely true. Rancher brought their co-founder, basically. So they won the container orchestration battle. Container were bigging it up. It's like, yeah, big battle, that type stuff, which was really actually quite cool, unlike my impressions of I the type. So yeah, it was a really, really good discussion, and the Kubernetes guys didn't actually come off that well because it seemed that people were wanting to talk about higher level orchestration things than running a kubelet and designing pods and ingress controllers and all that sort of stuff. So, who believes that Kubernetes has won the orchestration war? And would like to say something about it.
In what sense?
Oh, hands up. Go on, Martin.
Yeah, so I would say that. So I was at the debate as well last week, and it was a really bad question for the 4 guys they had up there. So who's won the great container orchestration debate? And what they had was a Kubernetes vendor. They had Kubernetes as a scheduler. They had Nomad, which is a job runner, and Mesos, which is to run jobs, not necessarily containers. So Mesos basically said, it's not us. We're not particularly good at container orchestration compared to these guys, but we can run all the other jobs. Ranch said it is us, but that's because we're using Kubernetes, and they're a really good scheduler, but they're not so hot at orchestration, which is why I think they won the debate. So I think both answers were true, and I think the debate was fundamentally flawed.
So there was no representative there of, say, Tectonic and OpenShift?
Nope.
No.
You should declare an interest here, Pete.
I have it on my shirt.
No, it's an interesting point though, because there's this stuff that's going on top of Kubernetes, which seems to be getting all the excitement at the moment, because everyone's, does anyone agree that Kubernetes is like a standard, a bit like Unix now? Yeah. And all the interesting innovations happening on top of it. Actually, do you work on any virtualization stuff, containerization stuff?
Not directly. I know most of the team that do. I technically work on Internet of Things, so it's a big, wide sort of cesspool that I deal with.
Okay, so Martin was talking about how hard it is to build your own Kubernetes cluster and run that, and you don't have to go through that sort of hassle. Has anybody in the room actually done that and would feel in a position to defend it?
To do what?
I'm trying really hard to not sound like I'm hitting on Kubernetes. Can I match? Correct. Is it that these new tools are making it easier and they're letting people worry about higher level concerns rather than how to run nuts and bolts? Is that what it's all about?
It's getting more lean of these things, getting less people spending time and resources on the side of infrastructure, focus more on higher level things. That's where containers take you. You don't care about physical hosts, you don't care about VMs. You're at the Docker level, at the container level, and going at the function as a service level. So the less time you spend on infrastructure, the better it is for explosion.
Anyone like to respond to that?
Nope.
Sorry.
I would actually sort of disagree in a way that Kubernetes have some severe problems with network overlay, especially when you have a very severe DR scenario. So for example, mentioned CNI plugin, it's crap. If you ever try to reboot each instance, for example, if you have Kubernetes distributed over 80 zones in AWS and you will try to reboot all of them, they don't persist state correctly, which actually puts down whole of your cluster.
And sort of all of them in one go.
Yeah.
Then how do you expect the cluster to actually survive?
It should be self-healing. So it's still some of those things that were actually not figured out correctly, in my opinion. The other thing is that
The whole idea of viability is you still have a quorum and you don't destroy the entire thing.
It's like being upset that Rosamaha died after nuclear strike.
Okay, so given that context, is that an argument for having these Kubernetes skills yourself and building it yourself? Should everyone be building it themselves?
No. Sorry, I'm not sure what the argument was
Oh,
in
go
terms of building it yourself.
Sorry, Rory.
I don't think that really was an argument, but I don't think there is a high availability algorithm anywhere that can tolerate loss of everything. If you lose all your high availability instances, your availability is gone.
The thing is actually not losing everything, but having inconsistent states of network in some parts of your cluster. And both
Cluster can't survive if there is no quorum, because otherwise nodes will be.
there is quorum.
We start everything at the same time, there's no quorum.
There is no quorum.
I said that you have 3 availability zones, and you actually don't put down. You reboot only one of them, which makes inconsistent state. Okay, my actual point is that if you forget about those low-level network dependencies, you actually might find yourself in a very bad place, especially since debugging those things is not a trivial thing, because the actual logs are in places which you don't normally aggregate, or you sometimes don't think about aggregating. For example, I've used KOps and Kismatic. They don't provide any kind of forwarding for this type of errors.
So are we saying effectively that this is one of these cases where unless you understand everything that's happening underneath everything and everything that's underneath everything else, then you've got some risks there?
There's definitely that, but you also need to, I mean, from my perspective, Kubernetes is becoming a commodity of infrastructure. And I don't care the internal modules that are created to make the kernel anymore. That's what I expect Kubernetes to become.
Yeah,
So my point is that most people running Kubernetes probably on AWS. Most people on Azure probably are running Windows, so they're probably not using the Azure Kubernetes.
Azure themselves.
I'm just guessing.
It's a little guess.
EKS isn't even out yet. It's still in preview. And when it comes along, I think it'll absolutely sweep the floor. And you'd have to have a real strong use case for using Rancher when EKS is there. I mean, I can see it was a good decision a couple of years ago when there was no EKS. But when EKS comes out and it's just like vanilla EKS Amazon, why would you not use it?
EKS or AKS? I just can't
EKS.
EKS.
So you're promoting a service that's not even out of preview, that you can actually use in production.
Yeah, but
it's better than anything else out there now.
Well, I'm not making an educated guess that it will be. Yeah.
Cloud agnostic. Basically, tidying up with EKS, as beautiful as and as wonderful as it is, you basically put all of your money on AWS. And
Isn't that the point of Kubernetes though, is to create an API layer on top so that you can switch to a GKE or on-prem or whatever you want?
if you will actually focus so much on EKS, you might have some problems.
No, you wouldn't, because you always focus on orchestration. So if you want to move to Azure, go to AKS. One letter change, same stuff.
Okay, so
I'm not taking the data out.
So we're hearing a bit of
With
like,
extra payments.
Ranch made a good decision 2 years ago. Do you guys? Apologies if you don't want to answer this. Do you think you're kind of
Yeah, but
on the spot now?
it's like a self-answering question. Rancher would allow you to manage both EKS and AKS.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, my view is we'll always have a multi-cloud environment. Like we'll never just use Amazon, we'll never just use Azure or Google Cloud. So for us,
It looks like a paranoid person.
What's more?
You're a paranoid person.
No, it's like a factor of business to have failover between cloud environments. You have on-premise deployments as well with other customers. But I think having that ability to failover is pretty powerful. Going back to the previous question, I also think the layer of abstraction is changing. So I remember when Docker was very, very early, people used to worry about, oh, if I don't know what Docker does underneath the covers, they want to really understand it. I was one of those people. I don't really care anymore. Docker's a lot more stable than it used to be. And I feel like the same thing is happening with Kubernetes over time. And so eventually you won't think about it, and then it will be just that abstraction layer. You don't really care. And that's why I think Kubernetes will win. Docker Swarm, for example, wins. Mesosphere definitely works.
Has that got something to do with Kubernetes being fully open source and the others not? Perhaps?
Not really. Never
It's
made
functionality.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, always you start with a problem, yeah? And you have a problem which you need to solve. So I believe that everyone is trying to find the right tool for the job. So for some people, if the Rancher, Tectonics, or other this sort of middle layer, as you have explained it, is actually going to fit the picture, use it, because it's better. However, Kubernetes has won the war at present. But if you need that flexibility, if you need to solve something and your problem is more wider than the one which is solved by Tectonics, Rancher, or one of those solutions, you need to use Kubernetes.
Yeah, but on the same side, Rancher version 2 will have extra value because it will lies on top of Kubernetes, keeping the same capabilities of Kubernetes, but adding something extra like multi-cloud management or maybe something else.
It's just a layer on top, as you said. It all depends if it solves your problem. If it solves your problem, use it.
No,
it's opinionated. We have to remember it's opinionated.
Picking up on that, you don't want a market that only has one leader. You don't want to be just Kubernetes for everything. If all other options that currently are in the market die down, I'm sure something will come up newer that will try to fight the power. Or because people just want to run something different, they want to be hipsters.
That's what I said. At present, Kubernetes won the war. At present. But we don't know what's going to happen in a year or two.
There's one more thing to think about though than does it solve your problem, and that is does that product have a future? You're going to put your production environment on this. Is Rancher going to be around in 2 years? I'm not sure.
So I hear that a lot. Like, oh, Rancher's not.
Yeah, but even if it will disappear, your end product, your production will run on Kubernetes. So you will lose the orchestration, but your product will run.
Your containers will keep running.
That's not nothing though.
I had the same concerns about Kubernetes a couple of years ago when I started looking at it, because it's the first project that Google open sourced, but Google has a reputation for killing stuff just as it's starting to hit its peak. That's why I didn't go with it at the time, but now definitely would use it.
Well, surely the reason Kubernetes would have won this war is because they have the richest feature set of any of them. They give you the most flexibility to do what you want. So I don't really care about the lower level stuff. The fact is I can do more stuff on Kubernetes than I could do on anything else. So why wouldn't it win?
I'll actually put a thesis in here that there wasn't actually a very huge security attack on Kubernetes up till now. And you need to remember that most of the stuff in there is run by a privileged user. Unfortunately, many people are running their production containers as privileged users. They're running Node.js as privileged users in Kubernetes. So imagine that half a year from now, someone will crack some part of Kubernetes when people have already settled down on that. We don't need this level of abstraction. Think about the panic, and all of that Mesos as SMEs and people like that will finally be the most valuable in the market.
I don't know.
So,
being massively insecure has never been any barrier to success, has it? Look at Windows.
And Mac, for example, yes.
Yeah, so actually, to look at this user namespace thing, that was an issue in Docker about 3 or 4 years ago. And a couple of years ago, they turned around and said, yeah, here we go, here's user namespaces. Who's using them?
No one.
No one at all.
Quite a few, actually.
Yeah.
I would venture that proportion-wise, the masses are not.
When they have been released, it was too late.
Right, yeah, everyone's already got used to running things as UID 0.
Why would you not use? Sorry, why would you not use namespaces?
Why would you not use namespaces?
You're not aware of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not aware of them. And because the things that you pick up off Docker Hub, for example, got Docker files that don't use them, and because it's a little bit of a faff, isn't it? Using namespaces. But yeah, I'll take Phil's point. I think you're absolutely right. Just because something is insecure doesn't mean to say it won't get adopted. And yeah, is there going to be an impending Kubernetes disaster? Anyone else think that's going to happen?
It's a question of PR, right? You've got for over the last year all these issues with big companies, big corporations, governments exposing data on GitHub, on S3 buckets, and what came out of that was those companies become better. They provide more tools that allow you monitoring. They become more secure themselves by securing your product.
Yep. So talking about using namespaces, there is one tool that does use and enforces them, and that's Cloud Foundry. Who's running Cloud Foundry? Why do we never hear anything about it? Bizarre, isn't it? It's like there's so Cloud Foundry got their own containery names runtime thing with Diego, which does use namespaces from scratch. And it seems to do a whole lot of stuff, just a little bit better than Docker ever did. And yet we never hear of it. And I find that bizarre. Maybe it's a mindshare thing.
It's a community thing. It's where you gather people to talk about things, how much you can actually influence others around you.
So perhaps the whole open nature of Kubernetes is a thing that's landed up on top, right?
And the fact that it's been running on Google for the last 10 years.
Absolutely. Okay, anyone got any closing thoughts?
It's all good.
Until next year.
It is all good. It's like 2 years ago, we were thrashing around with random Vagrant and collections of containers and shell scripts doing Docker run this, -p, that. And I think there's absolutely no doubt that we're further on from that. Should we have a vote? So who's won the container wars? No, let's not do that.
I think they're starting.
Yeah, this is only the beginning. This is the end of the beginning, right?
We haven't really touched on it except Kubernetes and stuff that runs on top of Kubernetes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
True.
I mean, I know Rancher does run other stuff as well as Kubernetes, but most things they have spoken about.
Yeah, but they're moving away from it. Anybody not think containers are the future? See, I don't.
Possibly not.
Function as a service?
Yeah. I phrased the question badly. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do all this and then we'll eventually move on to functions. So,
One of the things that came up at Boston, whatever, a couple of weeks ago, was I forget what the name of the technology was, but running stuff directly on top of Zen, as in skipping the whole kernel thing.
Unikernels, thank you. Yeah.
So that might have scope for.
Yeah. It looks like a bit of a science project at the moment, right?
Yeah, but so did anything else.
So anything else. So maybe that's the future.
It's been looking like that.
Interesting on that point, going back to Red Hat and the acquisition of CoreOS, I mean, that was half the point, patch the kernel live. One of the things CoreOS was trying to achieve.
Good. Okay. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much, everyone.